How's it going, guys? I'm your host Caravan Gaming and welcome back to this year's DragonFable class tier list video. That's right, guys. So ever since I started off the video, every single year I've been getting requests to make one for the new year, and this year is no different. So here it is. What's different this year is that I've also made an Excel spreadsheet on the classes and their different aspects, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. I'll put the link to that in the description below. Okay, before I start the video, I also want to mention a few things first. First of all, what's different this year is that I've split up questing into two different aspects. Okay, because after a lot of feedback from you guys, I realized that a lot of points that you guys make are actually correct. But at the same time, I do not really think the points that I made for questing are wrong either. So, you know what? Both make sense to me. And because of that, I decided to split questing into two different categories. Short questing as well as long questing. Okay, because not all quests are created equal. Some quests take 5 minutes to complete, and some other quests can take like 1 to 2 hours to complete. That's why I decided to split those two up to give you guys a clearer picture on how I rank each and every class for different aspects. So another thing that I want to point out is that this is going to be an overall tier list. Okay, so this is after taking every single aspect of the class into account. Short questing, long questing, warring, and bossing. Okay, this is not a tier list that is solely focused on bossing. A lot of people like to nail me to the wall for that, and I do not know why. It's either they didn't watch the full video, or they, for some weird reason, didn't read, or choose to selectively ignore what I say and then come and tell me that I am wrong because of this and that. So yeah, it's very weird, but just want to point out this is an overall class tier list taking into account every single aspect of the class, not just the bossing aspect. Okay, so if you guys see that why some classes are so high up, or why some classes are so so all the way at the bottom, it's because it takes everything into account, not just bossing. Okay, and last but not least, this tier list is 100% my opinion. All tier lists are opinionated in some way. You can agree and you can disagree with me. I'm totally fine. That I have no problems with people disagreeing with me, but please do so in a polite and respectful manner. You guys can go ahead and have discussions with me. I'm more than happy to hear your opinions and change up the tier list, or at least edit the Excel spreadsheet if I think your point makes sense. So if you guys disagree with the tier list, or if you agree with it, do let me know down in the comments below. Alternatively, you can join my Discord. The link is already up on the screen to have a nice discussion with me over there. So with all of that out of the way, without further ado, let's jump into ranking the DragonFable classes. So first of all, we have the Ascendant ChickenCow class. Okay, so Ascendant, where does this go? Hold on, let me see, because I'm referring to the Excel spreadsheet on my other screen here. Ascendant ChickenCow, this is going to go into the B+ category, all the way at the bottom of B+ category though. So for short questing, this is going to be a B-. Doesn't really have a good burst skill. The multi skill is also kind of lackluster. For long questing, it's also a B-. Okay, same reason as for short questing, but it does have a heal skill, so it's also not bad for long questing, honestly speaking, but it's just very slow and you don't really want to use this. Warring, this is a D because it doesn't have a good first turn burst. On top of that, most of its animations are super long. Okay, bossing, this is a C+. I don't really think you want to use this class for bossing at all. So overall, this is a B+ class. Next up, Angler. Why is this even here? This is obviously F tier. I don't think I need to explain this. Excuse me. Next up, we have Ancient Exosuit. So Ancient Exosuit, this class, I'm going to put it as S-. Okay, why is that so? I do think that for short questing, this class is okay. I will put it at B+ for short questing because it has a decently good first turn burst. The multi-hit skill is also okay, but it is not the strongest, and that's where the deduction of points come in and making it only B+. The burst is also not the strongest out there, but it's also not super weak either. Long questing, this gets an A- because it does have a HP heal and a MP heal skill. Okay. For warring, this is an A-. Again, good first turn burst. Multi-skill is also decent, but again, both of these skills are not the tippity top. The animations, however, are super duper fast. So if you're in a war with like low HP mobs, this is probably one of the best classes out there because its animation is probably the fastest. Okay. For bossing, this is going to be an A- class. It has really good defensive capabilities, really good sustain. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a lot of damage. That's one thing. So for bosses that heal, you're going to run into trouble. And the second thing is that this class also has a lot of high hit count skills. So for bosses with like Dr. Wen type of shields, then yeah, this class is really going to suffer in terms of the damage department. That's why it's only an A- for bossing. Alright, next up we have Kathool Adept. Kathool Adept. Unfortunately, it is no longer S+, but I'm going to put it in the S- category ahead of Ancient Exosuit, that's for sure. And why is this S- is why did it drop from S+ to S- is mainly because I split up the questing category into two parts. Okay, so for short questing, Kathool Adept is an A-. Why it is good is because it has a really good first turn burst, and the multi-hit skill is also really strong. Unfortunately, these two skills are locked to the water element. So if you're in a long quest with enemies that are resistant to the water element, then sorry to say it is not that great. Okay, for warring, this is a B+. Again, it's mainly because of 1, the animation time is kind of long, and 2, the burst skill is locked to water. So I can't really make it go higher than that. Bossing wise, this is an S+ class for sure. You have heal skills, you have a really good shield that you can spam. You also have a really powerful nuke that is multi-hit and inflicts minus 50 evil on the enemy before it hits. So yeah, S+ for warring, for bossing, sorry, that's for sure. Next up we have, this is DoomKnight. DoomKnight, what is this? V1 or V2? I think this is V1. V1 is the one with the glowing eyes. This is wait, let me double check here. Where's the other DoomKnight? Let me see if I can find it. DoomKnight. Okay, this is DoomKnight V1. Okay, why this is S+ is because it is fantastic for short questing, super duper high damage. Unfortunately, long questing it drops to an A- because of its super high MP costs, and it has a lack of an MP healing skill, so it's not that great for long questing. Warring A-, again. Wait, no, sorry. What am I looking at? Sorry. Warring S+ as well, really strong multi-hit skill, really strong turn 1 burst, one of the best classes for warring, hands down. Bossing, unfortunately V1, I'm going to give it a C+ for bossing. Why C+? It's because the most difficult challenge fights in the game do not even allow you to use V1, and that's where it really suffers. Is because if you can't even use the class, how can it be good, right? Of course, if you're just talking in the context of story bosses, then yeah, V1 is absolutely going to demolish every single story boss every single time. But when it comes to in challenges where the real challenge, where the real difficult bosses are, you can't really use V1, and that's why I'm only giving a C+ for the bossing category. Overall, it's still an S+ class, so don't let that shy you away from this rare class if you happen to have it. Alright, next up, Cryptic. Cryptic is an A+ class in my opinion. Why is that so? It has really strong defensive skills overall. Okay, and on top of that, it also has decent damage. Short questing, Cryptic is an A-. Like I said, strong turn 1 burst, multi-hit skill, also decent. Okay, long questing, it's a B+ because it only has a HP heal, doesn't really have an MP heal. HP heal also doesn't work 100% of the time. That's why it's only a B+. Warring, this is a B+ as well. Could have been an S. Maybe I could have bumped this up a little higher. I don't know. Do you think Cryptic is deserving of an A for warring? Could be an A-. I could bump it up, then it could go up to S- tier. I don't know. But for now, I feel like giving a B+ is justified for warring. Okay, still very fast animation and decently high damage though. Bossing, this is an A- class. The shields did get nerfed a while back. That's why it's no longer that fantastic for bossing. But despite the nerf, it is still decently good. A- for bossing. Alright. Next we have Evolved PumpkinLord. Okay, where is Evolved PumpkinLord? Evolved PumpkinLord, I believe is this one. And Evolved PumpkinLord is actually an A+ class as well. And this is probably the best class for NDAs in my opinion. Short questing A-, you have really good burst. You have a multi-hit skill that crits quite often. There is nothing on the wiki that suggests that it crits more often than usual, but every time I use it, it seems to like crit like 70% of the time. So I'm inclined to think that there may be some hidden crit modifier side there, but again, this is just me. Okay, long questing A+, because you have a HP heal and an MP heal, super good, and a lot of sustain for long quests. Warring, this is going to be a B-. Okay, it's not completely a D. Okay, turn 1 nuke is not that strong and is locked to nature. The multi-hit skill is also decent, but again, not the best. Very fast animation though, that's why it's getting a B+, a B- for Warring. Okay, for wars whereby you have monsters that are weak to nature, then yeah, this is going to be a lot higher. But in general, because it's an element lock skill, I am not going to rank it that high. Bossing wise, this is B+. For NDAs, this is probably a S, but for DA players, this is going to be a B+. Because of the fact that you don't have a lot of bursts, the defenses are also really mediocre, and it's quite reliant on its 5-turn stun. Even without the 5-turn stun, it's okay, but it is really not that good. Excuse me. Next up, Avatar of Time. So this is a calendar class. Avatar of Time, let me see. Avatar of Time is getting a B+ overall in the category, and it's going to be ahead of Ascendant ChickenCow. Avatar of Time, B- for regular questing, B+ for long questing because of its heal, D for warring, super long animation, don't really have a good first turn burst, and B- for bossing. It's not the worst class at bossing, but a lot of things could be better with Avatar of Time with regards to bossing. That's why I can only give it a B- for bossing. Alright. Yeah, there it is. Okay, Archivist, A- overall. Why is Archivist A- overall? Because it's C+ for short questing, really bad, and C+ for long questing as well. You just don't have that burst for questing, and that's where it falls short. D for warring, obviously, because same problem with the questing, you don't have a good burst skill, but S+ for bossing. This class really excels in bossing, one of the best bossing classes in the entire game, and that's really why it can get the A- category. Yeah, really good burst. The enemy can't even move for like 5 turns, so you can stack it to 10 turns or something crazy like that. And on top of that, you also have a really strong heal and shield skill in Archivist. It's technically 1 turn use, but still really good for bossing, S+. Okay, but overall this is an A- because it's not that great in terms of questing or warring. Next up we have Ascendant. Okay, so this is the Attilan Mage class. Ascendant is going to get a B+. Okay, and Ascendant is above above Avatar of Time. Okay, Ascendant gets a B- for short questing as well as long questing. Don't really have any sustain skills. The burst skill is also not that fantastic. On top of that, the animations are also kinda long, so yeah, it's not that great. For warring, it's a C-, not exactly D, because it does still have a nuking skill, but again, slow animation, so C-. Okay, for bossing, this is going to be B-. It's not the worst at bossing, but it does follow quite a strict rotation, so you don't really want to use it for bossing if you can help it. That being said, it can still clear a lot of the challenges if you know how to use the class, but because of its technically quite strict rotation, it is not that great. Okay, so B-. Next up, we have the shadow-based classes. Shadow Mage, Shadow Rogue, as well as Shadow Warrior. So all of them are going to get go into the F tier. Okay, obviously they are going to be above Angler, but yeah, why are they in the F tier is because, you know, they are base classes. Do I even need to say more? They are better than the regular base classes though, because if you equip them with the Shadow Heart Bracer, they do get extra 50% more base damage, but that's still not enough to make them actually any good. Okay, for the regular base classes as well, I think I'll just put them here right now. So this is Rogue. No, this is Mage. Sorry, there it is. Okay. So I think Rogue is the best base class out of the 3 base classes, followed by Mage and then Warrior, simply because Rogue has like more defensive options. That's why it's slightly better. Mage, because it has a bit of sustain, it has different elements compressed into its class. And last but not least, I think the worst base class currently is probably going to be Warrior. Yeah, it doesn't really have anything great going for it. The burst is not that fantastic. The shielding skill is not that fantastic. Doesn't really have anything special. Like, doesn't have the defensive capabilities of Rogue, and it doesn't have like the different elemental capabilities of like the mage class. So yeah, overall I think warrior is probably the worst base class right now, if you're not taking into account the dragon classes as well as the Attilan classes. Alright, chicken cow. So regular chicken cow, this is going to be F, but it's going to be better than all of the other classes because its skill, okay, is actually a C. Its bossing is actually a C minus instead of D. So all the classes here, everything is a D except for ShadowRogue and Rogue. And then we have ShadowWarrior, ShadowMage. Okay, let me just arrange this properly in the way I arranged it on my spreadsheet. Okay. Yeah, so this is how it's arranged, okay, assuming they are all in the same tier. Okay, so Chicken Cow, the multi-hit skill that you can spam, it actually has some uses in terms of bossing. Okay, if you use on-hit weapons, then it's going to be useful for certain boss fights. But of course, that is the only skill that you want to spam and the only skill that you want to use. So very, very niche use case, but overall still not a fantastic class. Right, next up we have the ChronoCorruptor class. ChronoCorruptor, overall this gets an A minus, yes, shocking, okay. B plus for short questing as well as long questing. D for warring, okay, doesn't really have a good first turn burst skill. Multi-skill is also not that fantastic. It does have an MP heal, which honestly is worse than a HP heal if you ask me, in terms of questing or bossing. Okay, so I would prefer to have a HP heal instead, but still it's not that great. Okay, so for bossing, this gets a B plus as well. I don't think it's the worst class at bossing, but it could be better. Okay, Chronomancer, everything is the same, okay, except it has a HP heal instead of a MP heal, and one of its skills increases something differently from ChronoCorruptor. I can't remember what it is, but Chronomancer is just slightly better than ChronoCorruptor. Okay, Riftwalker. Riftwalker actually gets a S minus. That's right, guys. Wow. Wow, indeed. Riftwalker S minus. How? What? Who? Why? Okay, so let me explain. So Riftwalker, first of all, it's a S minus in terms of short questing. Really super good in terms of the first turn burst. A plus for long questing, and it goes down a rank for long questing. It's because you only have a very insignificant HP heal, and on top of that, it doesn't have an MP heal at all. For that reason, I cannot give it a high ranking for long questing. If the HP heal was buffed up a bit, I might consider bumping up the long questing rank to like a A or something, but it's only a B plus for long questing in my opinion. Warring, this is an A minus, very good first turn burst, multi-hit skill also decently good, but animations for the first turn burst can be a little bit long, so yeah, not exactly S category for Warring. Bossing, A minus. I know Void Map has done quite a lot of in-challenge fights using Riftwalker, and it's not a bad class for bossing overall, but it is not at the tippity top either. ChronoZ, okay, ChronoZ, this is another calendar class here, and overall ChronoZ gets a B plus. Okay, ChronoZ is ahead of, no, it's below Avatar of Time, but above the Chicken Cow. Okay, ChronoZ, C plus for short questing, no good first turn burst. It requires a lot of combos to set up, so obviously it's very bad for short questing. C plus also for long questing, exact same reasons. D for bossing because same reasons as above, no first turn burst, but A minus for bossing. This is actually quite a good class for bossing if you know how to use it. It's a very difficult class to use because it requires a lot of different combos to work together, but if you know how to use the class properly, then it's actually really powerful. You can chain together a lot of strong attacks and strong damaging skills all together, and it has a heal, it has a shield skill, so yeah, overall ChronoZ is a pretty decent bossing class. Next up, Technomancer. Technomancer goes down a rank. Okay, instead of S plus, it is now S minus, unfortunately, and it is below Riftwalker. Okay, so Technomancer, B minus for short questing. Unfortunately, because short quests do not give you enough time to use up your mana unless you Wisdom Sword, but I'm not going to take that into account for questing because I don't really think anybody does that for questing, to be really honest. So yeah, you don't really have the burst needed for short questing, so that's why it's getting a B- for short questing. Long questing, however, this is an S+, because as the quest gets longer, the more mana you use, which means the easier for you to burst down monsters in one hit. On top of that, it has a HP heal and an MP heal skill, so really good sustain as well for long quests. Okay, D for warring, because same reasons as short questing. No first turn burst. Bossing, S+, probably one of the best bossing classes in the entire game. There's everything you need. Cooldown skill, HP heal, MP heal, now multiple number of hits, single hits, minus all. You can increase, buff yourself, debuff the opponent. Yeah, every single thing that you want. Stop the opponent from healing. Every single thing that you want in a bossing class, you can find inside Technomancer. S+ for bossing, that's for sure. So overall, S-. Next up, DeathKnight. Okay, DeathKnight is getting an A+ for me, and DeathKnight, where do I put DeathKnight? DeathKnight B+ for short questing. You do have some decently strong first turn skills, but it's not that great. Okay, doesn't really do as much damage, even if you have the curse toggle turned on. Okay, on top of that, it's also quite reliant on using DeathKnight relics. So across the board, because of how limited how limited you are by DeathKnight's equipment and gear build, it's really not that great. It really hampers all its capabilities across all aspects. Okay. Long questing, it gets an A-. Okay, simply because you have a HP heal skill and your damage will get a bit better in the long quests. So that's why it's getting A-. You can heal up your HP if you need to, or you can let your HP drop lower if you want a bit more burst damage. So really good, not really good, really decent for long questing. Only place where it falls short is it doesn't really have an MP heal. Alright, C+ for warring. Okay, again, the first turn burst is not that strong, assuming your HP is at its max. And B+ for bossing. Okay, I can't really give this an A for bossing because of how limited you are by the equipment, but all in all, it's a decent bossing class, and a lot of tough challenges have been done using this class as well. Okay, next, okay, DragonLord, we have two types. One is Baltael, one is Rev. So for Rev DragonLord, Rev actually gets an S+. Okay, so take this as the Rev DragonLord. Why does Rev DragonLord get an S+? Is because short questing, it's an S-. You get a lot of good bursts for short questing. Long questing is an S+ because on top of the burst, which also has a fast animation, you have a HP healing skill and an MP healing skill as well. Warring, S+. Okay, no, Warring is an A+. Okay, very good and very fast first turn burst skill. Unfortunately, where it suffers is the multi-hit skill. Multi-hit skill not that great, so it's only an A+ for warring. Bossing, however, bossing is an A-. Okay, it's not as good as Baltael in my opinion for bossing, but it doesn't mean to say that it's really bad at bossing or anything. So overall, S+ class, because it's just decently good in almost all aspects. Okay, next up we have DragonMage. Okay, DragonMage. Let's see, where do I put this class? DragonMage gets an A-. Oh, this is a bit of a surprising one for me as well. Okay, DragonMage is above the Chronomancers. DragonMage B+ for short questing as well as long questing. Don't really have a lot of sustain, and first turn burst is not that great, but it's not the worst either. D for warring, obviously, and B+ for bossing. Not the worst at bossing, but it's not super good either. So overall, this is an A- class. Next up, DragonRogue. Excuse me. DragonRogue, I think this one is all the way at the bottom, unfortunately. Oh my god, where's my poor DragonRogue? DragonRogue is B+, okay, all the way at the bottom, but above Ascendant ChickenCow. Okay, surprising. DragonRogue B+ for questing, B- for short questing, because it does have a bit of a burst. B- for long questing, don't really have a good heal. Okay, the heal takes time to stack up, so yeah, not really good. D for warring, C+ for bossing. I have seen some videos where people did some challenge fights with DragonRogue, but why would you want to use this class over other classes in the first place? Like, it's just really not that good. Okay, DragonSlayer. When are they ever going to revamp this class? Because it is a D tier. D for short questing, D for long questing, D for warring, C plus for bossing. Why C plus is because if you're dealing with dragons, this is the best class to use, obviously, because of its name. But most dragons usually have mechanics that counter DragonSlayer, especially the dragon fights. So yeah, C plus. Not a complete D, but overall this class still gets a D. Okay, next up, DoomKnight V1. Okay, the highest scoring class out of all the classes in the game. And DoomKnight V2, sorry, let me explain why. Short questing S plus, same reason as DoomKnight V1. Long questing A minus, same reason as DoomKnight V2, V1 as well. Warring S plus, same as DoomKnight V1. Okay, so everything is the same as DoomKnight V1 except bossing. DoomKnight V2, the difference is that you can use it in challenges where challenges are actually challenging. Alright, so S plus for bossing. Okay, this can handle almost every single boss inside of the entire inn. In fact, I think it can. So overall, this is an S plus class, good in all aspects. Of course, this is a very premium and pay to win class. So if you have the money, go ahead and get it because it is the best class in the entire game. Alright, next up, DragonWarrior. Where is DragonWarrior? Let's see. I think DragonWarrior is not that great. Yeah, DragonWarrior is just above DragonRogue. Okay, so it's going to be in the B plus category. B plus for short questing. Does have a good first turn burst, but multi-hit not that good. C minus for long questing. Doesn't really have a heal. Okay, D for warring, obviously. B plus for bossing. Okay, it's better than DragonRogue at bossing, but again, there are some things that it can do better. It does have quite a high damage output. That's why I put it at B plus. Next up, Pirate. Okay, Pirate and Dread Pirate is going to be the exact same. Pirate is actually A minus. Wow, I am also surprised at the overall rankings here. Okay, so Pirate is an A minus. And why is that so? And in fact, Pirate is above Archivist. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, let's see why this is the case. B plus for short questing. It does have a good first turn burst. Okay, multi-hit skill is not the best, unfortunately. Animation is also a little long. Long questing also B plus. It does have a heal skill, HP heal skill. MP heal skill unfortunately doesn't have one, but it's still good nonetheless. C plus for warring. Okay, again, good first turn burst, but the multi-hit skill kind of suffers, and on top of that, the animation is also pretty long. So C plus for warring. B minus for bossing. And why this is B minus is because it has a lot of good defensive skills. In fact, this is one of the best defensive classes inside the game if you know how to use it. Unfortunately, the damage output is really low, and because guesses are banned from the inn, I can only give this a B minus in terms of the bossing category. Next, Dimensional Transphaser. This is obviously going to be an F as well. Okay, so better than Angler, but yeah, very bad class, no reason to use it. ChickenCow. ChickenCow, this is quite an interesting class, and ChickenCow is actually above Evolved ChickenCow. ChickenCow is actually D, above DragonSlayer, and is D in all categories except for bossing. And why I say that is because it... Wait, is this... I can't remember which one is Evolved, which one is regular. Yeah, this is Evolved. Yeah, this is... The regular ChickenCow is actually above the Evolved ChickenCow. And why is because the multi-hit skill that you can use to spam is actually useful in certain boss fights. If you combine it with weapons that have on-hit specials, that alone makes it better than Evolved ChickenCow. So if Evolved ChickenCow actually had a spammable multi-hit skill, then yeah, it's going to be better than ChickenCow. But because it doesn't have one, then... You know, ChickenCow takes the win over here. Alright, next up we have EnTropy. EnTropy is an A minus class overall. And EnTropy is going to be above DragonMage. Yep. Over here. EnTropy A minus for questing. Good first turn burst. Okay, B plus for long questing because of its huge mana cost. So I can't really rank it any higher. Okay, D for warring, obviously, and long animation as well. B minus for bossing. Not the best at bossing. It does have a spammable shield that also gives you a large boost, but the shield is really weak, and you sort of almost need shields nowadays. So unfortunately, I can't give it higher in the bossing department. Alright, next up we have Eternal Epoch or Bardcore Epoch. So they are essentially the same class, just different, what do you call it? Just different final animations. Yeah, so Eternal Epoch, where is Eternal Epoch over here? Okay, Eternal Epoch is getting an A-, and this is probably one of the best A- classes here. Okay, C+ for short questing, really bad for short questing because it doesn't have a burst at all. B- for long questing because this does have some sustain, but again, it really hurts because of its lack of, what do you call that? First turn burst. Yeah, so it makes quests extremely long. D for warring, obviously, of course no burst at all. S+ for bossing, one of the top classes for bossing in the entire game, and that's the only reason why it's in A-. It would have been rock bottom had it not been the best at bossing, okay? Next up, Frost Moglin Armor. Frost Moglin Armor, I used to rate this quite high in the past and I got a lot of flack for it, but understandable because I think I was a bit biased. I was a lot more biased with this class back then than I am currently because I really did like the class's design. Now, however, I think I removed quite a lot of that bias, and where would I place it now? Let me see. Where is Frost Moglin Armor? Oh, is there still bias here? I hope not. A+? Yes, A+. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this, guys. A+ for Frost Moglin. Okay. Why? B+ for questing. The fruitcake break skill is decent. Multi-hit skill not that great. B- for long questing, does have a heal, but again, long animation and lack of multi-hit skill not that good. A+ for bossing. Okay, fruitcake break really good. Multi-hit skill not that good. Animation is super duper fast. Female Frost Moglin Armor to be exact. So yeah, use that for warring if you want to. C+ for bossing, just because it doesn't really have a lot of good skills for bossing. The shield, does this even have a shield? I can't remember. Oh, it does have a blind, but the lack of a shield really makes this class suffer, and it doesn't have any burst damage or defensive capabilities at all. So yeah. Next, GPS. GPS, this is okay. So GPS is below ShadowWarrior and ShadowMage. All right. GPSD for every single category, don't need to say more. Guardian, the revamped Guardian is actually not bad. I think a lot of people sort of underestimate it, but after looking at the skills and if you know how to use it properly, I would say it's a decent class. However, it's sort of scraping the bottom of the A- barrel here. B+ for short questing, A- for long questing because it does have some sustain in the heals. D for warring, obviously, and B- for bossing. This class is actually not that bad for bossing. I don't really see it used very often, so I can't really give it a higher rank, but looking at the skills alone, I don't really think it's that bad. You just need to learn how to use it, and I don't think a lot of people own the class. That's really why it's not that widely used. Alright, next up, Icebound Revenant. This one, when will this get another bump up as well? Okay, so C+ for short questing, C- for long questing, lack of sustain there, and a lot of its skills are locked to ice, so yeah, that's why it's really bad. D for warring, obviously. B- for bossing, it's because if you can inflict the Revenant's curse on the foe, then this could actually be good, but apart from that, yeah, this class is just really, really bad. And the fact that most of its skills are locked to ice limits a lot of elements that you can use. I mean, ice is a very strong element though because of Ice Scythe, but that aside, I don't really like classes that locks you to one element. Like, there's no versatility there. Okay, this one, Master SoulWeaver. Master SoulWeaver going in the B- category as well. Okay, C- for questing, really bad first turn damage, even worse than your Icebound Revenant. C+ for longer questing because it does have a HP, it does have an MP heal, sorry, but you know, it's still bad. D for warring, B- for bossing. It is worse than the Baltael SoulWeaver for bossing, so yeah, I can't give this a higher rank in terms of bossing. Next, we have Necromancer. No, Necromancer is an A+. Oh, it's the very last A+ class. Wow. Okay, so B+ for short questing. It does have some good first turn damaging skills, but it is kind of slow on the animation. Multi-skill is also spammable, so that's another good thing. A minus in terms of long questing, because it does have quite a lot of sustain. You have a HP heal and an MP heal, that's why it's good for long quests. D for warring, because super long animation. And A minus for bossing. This is actually a good bossing class, especially for fights that take a lot longer. That's when you can really ramp up Necromancer's damage. And on top of that, you add in the heal, you add in the defensive skills it has. Overall, quite a good class for bossing. Right, Pirate Monkey and Ninja Monkey. Okay, these are obviously going to be F classes. Okay, so Pirate Monkey and Ninja Monkey is above Dimensional Transphaser here. It has a bit more variety than Dimensional Transphaser, but overall it's still bad. Okay. Alright, next up, Chaos Weaver. Okay, so Chaos Weaver is going to be S-. In fact, it is only second in the S- category to Kathool Adept. And why that is the case is because S- for short questing, really super good burst damage skills. Animation is a little bit lengthier than I'd like it to be, but you know, it's not a big deal. A+ for long questing because it only has a HP heal, doesn't have an MP heal. B+ for warring. Okay, animation is a little bit too long for my liking for the burst skill. A- for bossing. You don't really have any good defensive skills with Chaos Weaver, so it's pretty much a glass cannon. Okay, if you need to survive a nuke or something, or if the enemy has a dot, then yeah, this class will pretty much be dead in a matter of turns for Chaos Weaver. So yeah, it's still a good bossing class, but you know, the lack of its defensive capabilities show in a lot of fights that require more attrition. Next, Ninja. Yeah, another class that badly needs a revamp. Okay, Ninja is somewhere in... it's above ChronoZ. What the heck? Okay, Ninja, C- for both long and short questing because lack of burst. Okay, there is one burst though, but the multi-hit skill is kind of bad. The burst, I am also not sure if we can take out enemies. Okay, I may actually bump this up to a C+. I don't know, man. Should I bump up the questing for Ninja to C+? Maybe I should. A- for warring because of his first turn burst. Yeah, I think I should. Come to think of it. C+ for the... what do you call that? C+ for the bossing aspect as well. It's not a complete D at bossing, but overall it's just really bad. Like low damage. Defensive skills are okay, but you know, could be a lot better. So honestly, not that good. And the only reason it gets C+ is because I think there are like 4 shields for Ninja. Yep. Next we have Paladin. Okay, so B- for short questing because it doesn't have good first turn burst. B+ for long questing because of its ridiculous heals. Okay, D for warring obviously, and B+ for long for bossing. Okay, for fights that you know just require you to tank it out, Paladin is the best class there is. Probably the tankiest class out there. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a lot of damage, so if you're in a fight that requires you to do more damage, then yeah, Paladin is going to suffer. Regular PumpkinLord. Okay, I will not go through this because there's no reason to use it over the evolved version. Pyromancer. Okay, Pyromancer is a really strong class actually. The top of the A- classes. Okay, so it's B- for regular questing because it takes some time to build up the damage, similar to Technomancer for short questing, sorry. For long questing, it's a B+ because you do have a heal in there. D for warring and A+ for bossing. Okay, this is actually a really good bossing class. In fact, I may actually bump up the bossing capabilities of Pyromancer to S-, but you do need some time to set up and fully maximize Pyromancer's damage. That's why I didn't really give it higher. I may consider giving it S- though, for the bossing category. Let me know what you guys think. Alright, next, Ranger. Okay, Ranger, where is Ranger here? Ranger is A+. And it is above Necromancer. Okay, so Ranger, B- for short questing, no burst. B+ for long questing because it does have a really good heal skill. D for warring. S- for bossing. Not the best bossing class, but a super duper good bossing class. The double turns means you can switch in your fully offensive equipment, hit the enemy, and then switch back before the enemy can even hit you. So cuts the cooldown of your skills in half. So all in all, really good bossing class. Okay, and if you use the dot as well, the damage ramp up is crazy, okay? But of course, you do take some time to set up, and the drop off for damage is quite a lot if you decide to use your defensive skills. Next up, Shadow Hunter. Oh my god, Shadow Hunter is another really bad class. Okay, this is going in the C+ category. Okay, so Shadow Hunter, C- for short questing, no burst, suffers from the same problems as ChronoZ. C+ for long questing, it does have a heal. D for warring, and C+ for bossing. Yeah, really bad bossing. It's just a worse version of ChronoZ overall. This is the regular, wait, what is this? The Shadow Mage class. Wait, what is the Shadow Mage class here? Did I accidentally take it out? Did I forget to take it in? Put it in. Let me see here. Where's the warrior? Yeah, that's the warrior one. Okay. Snuggle Bear. Okay, so Snuggle Bear is F tier. Okay, the only class that's worse than it is Angler. Snuggle Panda, on the other hand, this is a really good class for bossing. Okay, A+. And this is below Evolved PumpkinLord. Okay, so why is it A+? Snuggle Panda, B- for short questing, B+ for long questing because you do have quite a lot of healing skills. Unfortunately, no good burst skills. D for warring because no burst. S+ for bossing. This is another top tier bossing class. One of the best bossing classes in the entire game. Crazy defenses and auto hit stun. What more do I need to say, right? Next up, Baltael SoulWeaver. So Baltael SoulWeaver, no reason to use the regular SoulWeaver, honestly speaking. And this is actually better than Master SoulWeaver, and this is going in the B+ category, above Ascendant ChickenCow. Okay. So Baltael SoulWeaver, C- for short questing, no burst. C- for long questing because same problem. D for warring, and A+ for bossing. Okay, might be a A- for bossing, I don't really know, but you do have a loopable minus boost skill, a 4-turn shield, though the shield isn't really that great, but the burst damage, though you can do quite a lot of burst damage with Baltael SoulWeaver. That's why I gave it an A+ for bossing. Let me know, guys, do you think that you should get a A- or maybe even a B for bossing? I don't really know. ShadowWalker of Time, B+, the top B+ class. Okay, so B- for questing. Does have some decent burst skills, but long animation. C+ for long questing. I don't really think it's that good. I think it has a sustain, right, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, long animation, so not a fan of that. And it does require some setup as well. Okay, D for warring, and A- for bossing. Actually, quite a good class for bossing, if you ask me. So yeah, this is an A- for bossing. And next up, we have Dragonbyte Epoch. This is Dragonbyte Epoch, right? Yep, so Dragonbyte Epoch is also the epoch that I use inside of my videos here. Dragonbyte Epoch actually an A+ class. Okay, so Dragonbyte Epoch is above DeathKnight, below Snuggle Panda. Okay, so A- for questing. Okay, good first turn burst, but the animation is kind of long. A- for long questing as well. It does have a sustain. D for warring, and A- for bossing. It's not as good as the other epoch classes for bossing, but it doesn't mean that it's shabby either. Time Killer. Okay, so Time Killer is another calendar class right below DeathKnight. And A- for short questing. It has a really good crit skill that you can use on the first turn. So good burst. B+ for long questing because the heal does take some setting up to do. D- for warring because of the fast auto hit skill, but for multi-mobs, it kind of falls short. So for wars with like multi-mobs, then yeah, this is not such a good class because you need to set up the multi-hit skill. And the multi-hit skill also doesn't do a lot of damage. B- for bossing overall. It's not a bad bossing class, but it's definitely not the best either. Next up, Slayer. Okay, Slayer is C+, okay, below Shadow Hunter. And Slayer C+ for normal questing. Okay, because the burst is kind of long, and because it's locked to the fire element. D for long questing because there's no heals. D for warring, and C+ for bossing. It can burst down some of the lower HP bosses, and if assuming the boss doesn't have any fire resistance. So yeah, that's the only reason why it's a C+ and not a D. Okay, Underworld Epoch. Okay, Underworld Epoch is right below Archivist. Underworld Epoch, C+ for regular quest, for short questing, B- for long questing because it has a bit of a heal, D for warring, and S- for bossing. Okay, it used to be S+, but because of all the nerfs that it's been given, it's now dropped to an S-. Still super duper good for bossing though, so don't look down on it. Alright, Corrupted Doom Epoch. This one is below Eternal Epoch. Okay, and Corrupted Doom Epoch, A- for questing, for short quests because it has a burst. B- for long quests. Okay, it only has a HP heal skill, doesn't really have MP heal skill, so that's where it suffers. And the animation is also kind of long. D for warring, and A- for bossing. Not as good as like Eternal or like Underworld Epoch for bossing, but still not shabby either. Jet Pirate and regular Pirate is the same, so we just chuck this here. This one, no reason to use. You know what? I'm just gonna put this here as well. ZB, okay, almost reaching the end here. So ZB is below ChronoZ. Oh, there's also Base Epoch here. Unfortunately, I do not have the picture. I apologize for that. So Base Epoch is supposed to belong right below ChronoZ and right above ZB. Okay, so Base Epoch is actually C+ for normal, for short questing, C+ for long questing, D for warring because don't have a first turn burst, and A- for bossing. The only reason why you want to use the regular epoch is if you get like the Dragonbyte Epoch or like the only reason why you want to use the base epoch is if you get the Dragonbyte Epoch and you want to boss, then in which case the base epoch is going to be slightly better than Dragonbyte Epoch for bossing. So that's the only reason why you want to use base epoch. If you have Corrupted Doom Epoch, Eternal Epoch, Bardcore Epoch, or Underworld Epoch, then use those for bossing instead because they are going to be better than base epoch. Right, now back to ZB. ZB is a B- for short questing. It does have a strong one hit skill. Multi-hit skill is also decent. B+ for long questing because it does have a heal. D for warring, and C+ for bossing. Not a complete D because it does have some utility skills, but you know, really not the best either. Okay, and then moving on, we have last but not least is the Baltael Dragonlord class. Baltael Dragonlord is A- right below Underworld Epoch. Okay, there we go. So Baltael Dragonlord is B- for short questing. Don't really have good first turn burst. B- for long questing as well because of the burst problems. D for warring, and A+ for bossing. Okay, so for longer fights, this is really good and you can get a lot of damage out of Baltael Dragonlord, but in all other areas it's really quite meh. And that's it, guys. Okay, probably should just make it one C category. Yeah, because I don't have anything in C-. So that's my list, guys. My DragonFable class tier list for 2022. Let me know what you guys think of this class tier list down in the description below. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys disagree with me? Why not? And yeah, that's going to do it for this. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and of course subscribe to this channel if you guys would like to see more such future content. Till the next time, I'm your host Korriban Gaming. Peace out.